Hi there. Thanks for joining CPG Bytes, a series of short video segments from Treasure Data, where we chat about the latest news and industry trends and read between the lines to provide our perspective and insights. So David, my friend, what do you have for us this week?
Good afternoon, Stephen. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And you, David?
I think I'm fantastic as well. I'll mirror you on that one. So I thought today we talk a little bit about kind of the influencer economy and some of these topics. There's a podcast that comes out every week called the All In podcast that I like to listen to. And normally it talks about venture capital and financial markets and stocks and technology, a little bit of politics. But the most recent one, we'll put a link for our viewers down below. Almost at the very end, this one of the four people that participated in it, David Friedberg, was talking about Kim Kardashian getting into private equity and this whole notion of these influencers, right, creating their own brands. Mr. Beast has launched a hamburger chain, these kinds of things. And David Friedberg said something that really kind of stopped me in my tracks. And he said that he feels like in the next 30 years, major CPG companies will go out of business. And I was like, whoa, that's that's a pretty strong statement. And his whole point was that essentially, from a marketing perspective, brands need to be content creators, right? And essentially build out that audience and then, surround that audience, if you will, with your different brands. And I just thought that was kind of a fascinating, kind of provocative statement that he made. But maybe a different way of looking at it is, instead of the sort of the negative of saying these companies are going to go to business, maybe to think about it more from a line of what do CPG companies need to do to transform themselves to drive growth and to not just survive, but thrive. And I think if we think about it through that lens, you can begin thinking about different brand stories as really being the content, meaning it's not just about what's in the bottle. It's not just about the product itself, but the story, the brand story, the stories that can be told about the brand become the content. And I think that that's where CPG companies need to be thinking. They talk about in this, the other thing I want to bring up from a screen standpoint, there's a McKinsey article, we'll also have the link, and they're talking about the influencer economy as well. And they just talk about, how large it is. Here it's like 16.4 billion from a marketing perspective. And so I think tapping into that and helping communicate those stories, if you will, is going to require really better understanding your consumers. We always kind of tie things back to that, as you know, Stephen. But really, in order to know what story to tell and what content to create, you need to know your audience very, very well. You have to understand your consumer. And if you have that understanding of your consumer, then you can begin thinking about how do you create that content? Do you do it organically? Do you do it through acquisition? Do you do it through partnerships? But at its core, unless you have that knowledge and understanding of your core consumers, like a deep knowledge of their likes, dislikes, and their behavioral patterns, you're not going to be able to create an authentic sort of message and an authentic story and authentic content.
Agreed, totally agreed. And I also agree with the statement that the content is king and that CPG brands need to tell their story, right? One thing that I see is that CPG brands have their products as kind of their story now. However, they also need other content to support it, right? So forward-thinking CPG brands can have content such as like the top 5 skincare products to travel with, or the best 3 lotions for the winter and stuff like that, right? And also not just feature their own products, but feature kind of a slew of products that will help the consumers add value. And this can be done in parallel to what they're already doing now. And another way to look at that content story is what is valuable to your consumer, right? Are they looking for recommendations on how to use your products? What other supplementary products can also be used along with your solutions to help the consumers live better lives? So content is not just like a piece of PDF or some type of things that you hand off to somebody. It's just value that you're providing to your consumers in addition to what's already in your bottle today. So, and then back to David's point, how do you get all that insight? Nobody's going to hand you a piece of paper that says here's all the content that you need to create in the next 6 years. The kind of deep understanding that you will have with your consumers is really based on the data that you already have in your system, right? By understanding kind of what your consumers are looking at, what kind of information are they looking for, and what can you provide with kind of the data points that you already have collected. It's what's going to make what's going to provide value back to the consumers, right? All these information are embedded in what your consumers are kind of signaling to you based on their digital body language. Now you just need to take a look at that and translate that back into, oh, our consumers are looking for tips on this. I can create that. I know the insights that will be valuable to them.
I think it's interesting, Stephen. You said something that I think is really, really important, and that is, content isn't a PDF. It really is the value. Like that at the end of the day is what the content is. It's the value. And it can be, as you described, a lot of different examples of value that can be provided. But if you think in those terms, that's really the thing to get your mind wrapped around. So anyway, it looked like you had a little friend there poked in on your conversation earlier. I like that.
No, he sure did. My little cat definitely wants to join in on the conversation, and even he finds this topic interesting. So thank you for all that insight today, David, and also thank you for joining us. And to read and watch the McKinsey article, and also to watch the full video referenced by David, please check out the links in the description below, and also to help you understand, what are some of the upcoming consumer megatrends that the speakers talk about in the video. Please check out the free WBR Insights report, also in the description, to prepare for the upcoming trends that you should know about for the next 12 months or so. And finally, for more videos like this, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to turn on the bell for all notifications. And we'll be back in 2 more weeks with topics for CPG Bytes. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. Bye-bye.